Prepare yourself for an exciting and disturbing story that will hold your attention from beginning to end. Imagine a loving couple, Dupe and Jer, who do everything they can to care for their special daughter, Taupe. On what seemed like an ordinary afternoon, they hire a new nanny, unaware that this decision would bring devastating consequences. What appeared to be a tale of love and care quickly turns into a nightmare of unimaginable abuse and cruelty. You won't believe what this evil nanny did to get revenge for a secret from the past. Discover how sweet Taupe was subjected to horrible and inhumane treatment, while her parents, unaware, continued to trust the wrong person. This video reveals a shocking twist that will change this family's life forever. Every detail, every cruel action, every moment of suffering, and the parents' desperate search for answers will keep you on the edge of your seat. Don't miss this impactful narrative of betrayal, pain, and revenge. Watch until the end to discover how this disturbing story unfolds and the powerful lessons it teaches us about trust and the dark secrets that can exist right under our noses. Once upon a time, there was a lovely couple named Dupe and Jer. They had a daughter with special needs named Taupe. Taupe was born unable to hear or speak, but her parents loved her very much. On an unfortunate afternoon, Dupe and Jer were about to hire a new nanny for their daughter because the previous one had traveled abroad. Out of the two candidates who came for the brief interview, the couple chose the young woman, thinking she would be better suited for the job. "We expect you to be here from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, and your only job is to take care of our daughter, Taupe," Dupe told Seo, the new nanny. "You will be paid on the 25th of each month," Jer added. Seo knelt down, thanking the couple for choosing her. "God bless you," she said, happy to have gotten the job. Dupe went to her daughter's room, where she was busy playing with her toys. "My dear, come meet your new friend," Dupe said, carrying her smiling daughter to the living room. "Seo, meet Taupe, our bundle of joy," Dupe said to Seo. Seo immediately ran to take Taupe from her mother's arms. As we mentioned before, Taupe has hearing and speech impairments, so please be gentle with her, Jer, Taupe's father, told the nanny. "Don't worry, sir, I'm very good with children. She will miss me when she starts going to school," Seo said confidently, and Taupe's parents laughed. The next day, before Dupe left for work, she prepared her daughter's favorite food, fried rice with chicken. When Seo started working that day, Dupe informed her about the food. "Please serve her meal after she brushes her teeth. I made extra fried rice for you too, Seo. I hope you don't mind." "I don't mind at all. Thank you so much, Mom," Seo thanked her boss before starting to dress Taupe. "She likes to have something light in the afternoon, so give her cereal and some fruits," Dupe instructed Seo as she was about to leave the house. "I love you very much," she said, kissing her daughter goodbye. Taupe looked very sad as she watched her mother leave. As soon as Dupe left, something shocking happened. Seo took the smile off her face as if she were removing a mask. She dragged Taupe from the entrance to the living room with one hand. The poor girl cried, but Seo kept hissing. "Today begins your suffering," Seo shouted at the crying Taupe. She then went to the kitchen and served the delicious food that Taupe's mother had prepared. She ate the first plate right in front of Taupe. "Your mother is a good cook, I must admit. This is delicious," she said. And without giving Tope a taste, she ate another plate of rice. A few minutes later, Seo ate the third round and 4 pieces of chicken. Tope was very hungry and cried louder, but Seo kept laughing in her face. Cry until you form a river, I will swim in your tears. Thank God you are deaf and mute, you won't be able to tell your stupid parents on me. Seo smiled maliciously. A few minutes later, Seo grabbed the remote and changed the channel from cartoons to a movie channel. She spread her legs while drinking a glass of cold juice, paying no attention to Tope. Hours later, when it was time for Seo to serve cereal to Tope, she got up. It's time for your afternoon snack, Tope, but my stomach is full. What shall we do? Seo paced back and forth before finally deciding on something. She then proceeded to pour the cereal into a bowl, added milk, and pretended she was going to bring it to Tope before suddenly heading towards the guest bathroom, where she flushed the cereal down the toilet. Poor Tope was helpless, she was too hungry to cry. A few minutes later, Seo brought a glass of water for Tope. The girl drank it all and fell asleep. Later that night, Tope's father was the first to arrive. Welcome, sir, Seo greeted him while trying to help him with his briefcase. Good evening, Seo, don't worry about the briefcase. How is my angel tonight? He asked. She fell asleep after eating, she ate a lot, Seo lied to Tope's father. He thanked her for her service and said she could leave if she wanted, but Seo insisted on waiting until her official departure time. She then went to where Tope was sleeping and used a small blanket to cover her. Jia watched with satisfaction, he was happy they had found a good nanny. When Dupe, Tope's mother, returned, she also thanked Seo for taking care of Tope all day. It was no trouble at all, your daughter is such a sweet girl, Seo told Dupe before heading home. The next day, when Seo arrived, Dupe asked her to help Tope brush her teeth upstairs, but as soon as Tope saw Seo, she screamed and continued screaming until her mother came to the scene. Dupe asked what was wrong, and Seo pretended ignorance. I guess she doesn't remember you, Dupe said to Seo while stroking her daughter. I don't blame her, children forget things and faces easily, Seo added. After Dupe combed her daughter, she rushed to shower and left for work. As soon as she left, Seo spread terror over Tope. She started by pulling her hair. What was the drama this morning? Did you want your mother to save you from me? Seo glared furiously while continuing to pull Tope's hair. Tope began to scream, but Seo became even angrier. Your plan is for me to lose my job, right? You little witch. Seo roared. That morning, she ate most of the food and left about 6 spoonfuls for Tope. Later, in the afternoon, Tope stood in front of Seo and held her panties, signaling to Seo that she wanted to pee and needed help, but Seo ignored her. When she could no longer hold it, she wet herself. Seo saw this and turned red with anger. She slapped Tope several times on her back and left her in the stained clothes for a long time. But when Seo noticed that Tope's parents were about to return, she quickly bathed Tope and dressed her. That day, Tope's mother came back with a big bag of clothes, shoes, and bags for Seo. I bought this for you, Dupe said as she handed the shopping bags to her. Seo was very surprised to see the contents of the bags. This is too much, Mum, she said. You are wrong, Seo. Nothing is too much for someone who takes good care of my princess. Thank you very much, ma'am, Seo said happily to Dupe. Despite the kindness of Dupe and Jer towards her, Seo refused to give up her disgusting behavior towards their daughter, Taupe. She continued to eat most, if not all, of the house's food, leaving little for the poor hungry girl. She also hit Taupe for minor slips or sometimes for no reason at all. But perhaps the worst part of Seo's cruelty was her neglect of Taupe. On some days, Seo spent hours relaxing in the master bedroom, soaking in the jacuzzi, and drinking wine, while Taupe was left alone downstairs, hungry and scared. Taupe cried herself to sleep many times, feeling abandoned and hated by the person who was supposed to take care of her. Taupe's disability made it even harder for her to communicate her suffering to her parents. Since she couldn't hear or speak, she couldn't tell her parents about what she was enduring at Seo's hands. She felt trapped and helpless, unable to escape her cruel nanny's clutches. It seemed that with each passing day, Seo's malicious actions towards Taupe became increasingly severe. It was as if she derived pleasure from tormenting the innocent girl, delighting in the power she had over someone so vulnerable. During Taupe's nap time, Seo would kick her out of the bed and force her to sleep on the floor. Those who don't have a bed to sleep on don't have a smaller head than yours, Seo would say before pulling the girl from the bed to the floor. On days when Taupe cried louder, Seo covered her mouth to prevent her from alarming the entire neighborhood. One afternoon, after Seo had carried out her usual mistreatment of Taupe, she suddenly heard a car pulling into the driveway. She ran to the window to see who it was and discovered it was Jer, Taupe's father. Seo froze. She didn't expect anyone to come home at that time of day. When she recovered, she rushed to pick up the sleeping Taupe, who she had forced to sleep on the floor. She quickly placed her on the sofa and also ran to fetch her blankets from the bedroom, covering Taupe with it. She did all this to hide how badly she had mistreated the girl. Jer walked in and Seo greeted him warmly, with lots of enthusiasm and a smile. She asked why he arrived so early, and Jer explained that he had a meeting with some business associates nearby and so he decided to bring ice cream and some snacks for his daughter. Seo asked if he wanted her to wake her daughter up, but Jer insisted he let her sleep. You can put the ice cream in the freezer until she wakes up, Jer told Seo. But when she took the bowl of ice cream from his hands, Taupe woke up. She saw her father and tried to communicate something to him, but she just couldn't. Jer rushed to sit with her. I didn't mean to wake you, Daddy, sorry, okay? He told his daughter before carrying her in his arms. Jer asked Seo to give him the ice cream. She did and he started feeding his daughter. Jer was surprised at how quickly Taupe ate the ice cream, but concluded that she just liked it and nothing else. If he only knew that the girl was constantly hungry for the evil nanny they hired. He was still feeding his daughter when he received a call, prompting him to leave immediately. He waved to his daughter and left the yard. As soon as Seo confirmed that Taupe's father had left, she snatched the bowl of ice cream from the young girl's hands. There will be no fun for you while I am in this house. The next day, Seo brought a lunch box with her. Taupe's mother noticed and she said she decided to bring food from home for herself. But unfortunately, it was a lie, and once she was alone at home with Taupe, Seo removed the lid of her lunchbox, which only contained spoiled cooked beans. Seo did the unthinkable by feeding Taupe this horrible meal while she ate the mashed yam and vegetable soup that Dupe had prepared for her daughter. Taupe ate the food without knowing what it was. Sometimes, Seo would lock Taupe alone in the house for hours to go out with her boyfriend. Later, she started bringing him into the house, taking him directly to the master bedroom. There, they began kissing and engaging in various impure acts. One day, Seo served Taupe a tiny portion of food as usual, and when she finished eating, the plate fell from the table and broke. Seo took the opportunity to punish Taupe. She ordered Taupe to kneel and carry a heavy vase of flowers. When the vase was about to fall from her hands, Seo hit Taupe's legs. A few weeks later, Taupe's parents were deeply concerned when they noticed their daughter was becoming abnormally thin. They have always taken pride in providing a warm and welcoming home for Taupe, ensuring she has everything she needs to thrive. So when they realized she was losing weight, they were surprised. At first, Dupe and Jia tried to ignore their concerns, thinking that Taupe was just going through a growth spurt or was feeling unwell. However, as the days passed and Taupe's weight continued to decrease, they knew they needed to act. They made an appointment with their family doctor to find out the problem. That weekend, Seo was given the day off. When they arrived at the hospital with Taupe, Dr. Adebayo, a gentle and kind pediatrician, welcomed them warmly and led them to his office. He gave Taupe a chocolate while attentively listening to the parents' explanation of their concerns about their daughter's sudden weight loss. After a thorough examination, Dr. Adebayo ordered a series of tests for Taupe. While waiting for the results, Taupe's parents couldn't stop worrying about what might be causing her sudden weight loss. They had always encouraged her to eat well-balanced meals and never denied her food when she asked for it. They thought that their daughter might be suffering from some sort of illness or nutritional deficiency was almost unbearable for them. Finally, the test results came in, and Dr. Adebayo sat down with Taupe's parents to discuss his findings. He explained that there was nothing physically wrong with Taupe, but that her weight loss was due to her not consuming enough calories to support her growing body. This revelation left Dupe and Jia perplexed. They couldn't understand how their daughter, who always received balanced meals, was suddenly lacking in calories. They tried to think about what could be causing the problem. Dr. Adebayo suggested that they investigate Taupe's daily routine more thoroughly to see if there was an underlying issue that might be affecting her eating habits. He recommended that they keep a food diary for Taupe and closely monitor her meals to ensure she was receiving the necessary nutrition to stay healthy. Taupe's parents decided to be more proactive about their daughter's health and well-being. They provided her with more nutritious meals and snacks. They also came up with the idea of buying a food diary to track Taupe's daily meal consumption. This way, they could record what she was eating and ensure she was getting all the necessary nutrients. They handed the food diary to the nanny, Seo, whom they trusted to take good care of Taupe while they were at work. However, little did they know that the nanny was a true demon. Instead of following their instructions to monitor Taupe's meals, Seo made her own plan. Every time Taupe sat down to eat, Seo served her only a small portion of food, drinking her juice and eating her protein right in front of her. Taupe, unable to speak or complain due to her condition, simply ate what she was given without question. After Taupe finished her small meal, Seo marked the food diary indicating that Taupe had eaten everything, deceiving her parents into believing their daughter was being well fed. This deceptive cycle continued day after day, with Seo manipulating the food diary to make it appear that Taupe was eating well, when in reality, she was receiving just enough to sustain her growing body. The parents, busy with their jobs, never suspected anything, as they saw the markings in the food diary and assumed everything was under control. As time went on, Taupe began to show more evident signs of malnutrition. She lost even more weight, became lethargic, and seemed sick most of the time. Her parents were worried that despite all their efforts to improve her diet, nothing was working. Instead, their daughter was getting worse. They gave Seo another day off and took their daughter to the doctor for a checkup. To their shock and horror, the doctor revealed that Taupe was still severely malnourished and that her growth and development were being hindered due to the lack of proper nutrition. Jay and Dupe couldn't understand how their daughter, who had always had a balanced diet including plenty of fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains, had become so weak and frail. Desperate for answers, Taupe's parents began to consider other possibilities. They couldn't shake the idea that maybe Taupe was somehow getting rid of her food without anyone noticing. The only time she ate without their supervision was when the nanny was around. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, Taupe's parents decided to give the nanny a day off while they installed security cameras throughout the house. They wanted to see for themselves what was happening when no one was watching. The next day, Taupe's parents pretended to leave for work as usual, but this time they stayed at a restaurant in town, watching their daughter Taupe and the nanny, Seo, through the live security cameras. To their dismay, they saw Seo serving a full plate of jollof rice with 3 pieces of chicken. At first, they thought she was bringing the large plate of food to their daughter, but then they saw Seo devouring the food herself while their daughter watched, sad and hungry. As they watched the footage, Dupe felt hot tears streaming down her face. She couldn't understand how anyone could be so cruel to an innocent child. Jay, on the other hand, was boiling with rage. He clenched his fist, unable to contain his anger as he watched his daughter being mistreated in such a manner. They couldn't believe what they were seeing and waited to confirm if they were seeing things correctly, but when they saw Seo finish the large plate of food meant for Taupe, she then kicked the girl's leg and rubbed the chicken bones on Taupe's nose. This made Dupe and Jay feel sick. Dupe and Jay had always been cautious in choosing a nanny for their daughter, especially because of her disabilities, and they honestly thought they had made the right choice in hiring Seo and trusting her to care for their precious daughter, but now they realized they had made a grave mistake. Thinking about the best way to handle the situation, the couple decided to split up. Dupe would go home while Jay would go to the police station. Back at the house, Taupe had a stomachache and urgently needed to use the bathroom. She tried to signal to Seo that she needed help, but Seo was too busy enjoying herself in the pool to pay attention to Taupe's distress. Taupe approached the edge of the pool and tried to get Seo's attention, but all she received in return was a disdainful look and a hiss of contempt. Tears welled up in Taupe's eyes as she desperately signaled for help, but Seo simply turned her back and continued enjoying her swim. Taupe tried to hold on as long as she could, but eventually, she couldn't wait any longer and ended up soiling herself. The smell quickly spread around her, and Seo's expression changed from indifference to anger as she smelled the stench and furiously got out of the pool. "You filthy child, how dare you ruin my day like this?" Seo shouted as she grabbed Tope's arm tightly and began shaking her. She continued to hit and shake Tope until the girl lost her balance and fell into the pool. Instead of helping Tope, Seo simply stood by the poolside, watching with a cold and indifferent expression on her face. "It's good that you fell in there," she sneered, "at least it'll wash off your filth." With that, she turned and left, leaving Tope to fend for herself while she went to get dressed, eat more snacks, and drink more beverages. As she sat down in the living room chair, Dupe came running in. As soon as she saw Seo, she screamed, "Seo, what did I ever do to you? Why have you made my daughter's life miserable?" Seo still pretended to be ignorant until Dupe said she had seen how she was mistreating her daughter through the security cameras. "Where is my daughter?" Dupe demanded, searching the living room for her daughter with her eyes. Seo refused to speak and kept a serious expression until Dupe slapped her. Seo then responded that Tope was near the pool. "You left my daughter near the pool." "But I told you she can't swim," Dupe shouted as she ran with all her might to the pool area of the house. Seo immediately started packing her things with the intention of fleeing. As Dupe dived into the pool to save Tope, her mind was filled with intense emotions. She kept praying and begging God to save her daughter. Back at the main building, just as Seo was fully dressed and preparing to flee, she encountered Jae and the police officers he had brought with him. "Officer, it's her," Jae said, pointing at Seo. One of the officers immediately handcuffed her. As everyone headed into the house, Jae couldn't find his wife. "What have you done with my wife?" he shouted at Seo before hearing his wife crying in the distance. He ran there with some officers and, to the glory of God, Dupe had managed to rescue their daughter and was singing praises to God, hugging Tope tightly. Jae was greatly relieved to see that his wife and daughter were safe. The police took Seo to the station while Dupe and Jae changed and cleaned their daughter before taking her directly to the hospital to ensure she was okay. Tope was examined, and the doctor decided to keep her under observation to make sure she was fine. While all this was happening, Jae received a call from the station that had arrested Seo. They wanted Jae and Dupe to come down to give their statements. They also mentioned that Seo had requested to speak with him and his wife. Jae informed his wife, but Dupe didn't want to leave their daughter. "Tope is sleeping right now, she'll be safe in this hospital. Let's just go to the station, give our statements, and get this over with, Dupe," Jae said to his wife. She agreed on the condition that they would return in 2 hours. "I want my face to be the first one she sees when she wakes up." So the couple left the hospital and headed to the police station. Upon arrival, they were asked to write their statements, and each of them recounted the entire story of what had happened. After that, the officer said that Seo had something to say to them. Seo was brought before them, and immediately, Dupe, upon seeing her, couldn't contain herself. She wanted to hit her, but her husband and the officers stopped her. "Let me deal with this girl, for God's sake. What did my daughter do to deserve everything you did to her?" Dupe said, as she broke down in tears. "I did it to get back at your husband." Seo said firmly. Jia couldn't believe what he was hearing. Everyone was shocked before the officer asked what she meant, and Seo began. Mr. Jia, you served during your NYSC in the village of Alagbedo, am I right? Seo asked. How do you have that information? Jia asked as he nodded, confirming that he indeed was posted to that village. And what does that have to do with what you did to my daughter? Dupe asked in tears. Seo then began to narrate how she was raised by her mother in extreme poverty in the village, how she couldn't even afford school, how her mother died because they had no money to pay her medical bills. May God rest your mother's soul, but what does that have to do with me or my daughter? Jia asked. Then Seo revealed a shocking revelation. If you could remember, you got a woman pregnant in the village of Alagbedo during your stay there. That woman was my mother. Everyone was shocked to hear this. Mobolade Ajian was my mother, and I am the child you rejected. Jia, tell me this isn't true, tell me she's lying. Dupe looked furiously at her husband, but Jia couldn't look at his wife. Growing up, I always asked my mother who my father was. She kept avoiding the question for years, at least until I turned 22. It was on her deathbed that she finally gave me your name, Mr. Kosoko Adeje. She told me the story of how you promised her love, but hated and rejected her after she got pregnant. You gave her money to go to the hospital and do something about what was in her belly because you couldn't bring a girl from the village home. Seo began to cry as she continued, those were your exact words to my mother. She even told me how she went to your company to let you meet me after I was born, but you claimed not to recognize her and had your security guards beat her up. A woman carrying your newborn baby, Mr. Kosoko Adeje. My mother begged me not to seek you out, but after she died, I felt a rage inside me. I felt that if you had taken responsibility, my mother wouldn't have had to work so hard just to feed us, and she might still be alive now. So I gathered a few things and traveled to the city, searching for you. But imagine my surprise when I found you living not just alive but as a millionaire, rich, comfortable, enjoying all the pleasures and comforts in life with your family, while my mother and I rotted in the village. Then I decided to take revenge, and a golden opportunity presented itself when you and your wife were looking for a new nanny. That was my chance, and I seized it. Seo roared.